Thanks for meeting with me today. I know we're here to talk about Jill, one of your students, and some of the concerns you've been seeing in the classroom. Uh, I got your email, but I'll ask some questions about her behavior and anything else that might help us better understand how to support her. Hopefully, we can maybe identify some antecedents, behaviors, and consequences. So, in other words, like the how, what, and why. Um, After that, we'll set some goals and discuss how to collect data. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So we'll start out here. What are some of your concerns about Jill?
Um, well, she's a good student, I'd say,
Okay,
who normally does her work,
that's
but
good.
the problem is that she gets distracted really easily,
Right.
especially during independent work time,
Okay.
and she often talks to her peers, so
Okay.
she distracts them too.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. So especially during independent work and she talks to her peers. Okay, I'll come back to that. Do you feel like this is more of like a behavioral thing, an academic thing, or maybe both? Kind
Um, I'd say it's mostly behavioral. Like
of. Okay.
academically, she can do the work, but the distractions affects her focus and the completion time. Again, she's distracting other people.
Right. So she probably could do the work, but she's too busy talking to her peers or just kind of distracted from doing the work, especially during independent time. You're saying,
Basically, yeah.
right? Okay. Let me think what else. Oh, is she receiving any services through the school system?
Um, no, not right
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yeah, no special education or counseling or anything.
Okay, okay. Is she taking any medications? Do you know?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Okay, I can look into that more too. But I was just curious if you knew. Has she been diagnosed with any medical or learning conditions that you know
She was recently diagnosed with ADHD. Her
of?
mom told
Oh,
me.
okay.
Yeah.
That is valuable information. Yeah, I didn't know that yet, but that's good to hear. So now we know what we're kind of working with. Um, what do you currently have in place as supports for?
Oh well, I have her sit next to me, which helps sometimes. I often try
Yeah,
to see her with students that she doesn't really know. Like maybe like she won't, you know,
I won't talk to them so
want to
much.
talk to them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But she's still like she's a very social kid.
Yeah.
She kind of talks to everyone, and I've tried to have like other students ignore
Mhm.
her, but that hasn't really worked out.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that's hard. Like, both relying on the students not to really react is hard, especially when they're that young. And then, if she's really social, it's hard to find a seating arrangement where she won't talk to others. Okay. Mm, how often does she miss school or come in late?
She has pretty good attendance. And she's never absent or tardy.
Okay, that's great. That rules out some of the other problems that might come up. So it's always important to know, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so you mentioned independent work earlier, and I was kind of wondering what does that look like in your classroom? Like if I came in during independent work time, what would I see?
Um, we do about like 30 minutes of independent work per subject.
Okay.
I usually do whole class instruction when I'm standing in front and like just lecturing,
Yeah.
and then I do independent work for 30 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
And then usually they're supposed to sit at the desk and work quietly for about 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. It feels like a reasonable amount of time. Um, do you do independent work every day, or is it just on certain days?
Yeah, at least like twice usually.
Okay, so twice a day. All right. I'll keep that in mind. And does the topic ever change of those like independent work sites?
Um, yes. So in the mornings, the independent work is math,
Okay.
and in the afternoon it's reading and English,
All right.
and she kind of does the same thing in both.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't really matter what the subject is. Though they do change, she doesn't. She reacts the same way either way.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. Yeah. So just independent work in general. She kind of struggles with that. Um. Can you describe what Jill does when she's off task? Like, what does that look like normally?
Mm, well, she'll start working, and then I don't know, probably within like 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
she'll like start turning to her classmates and like whisper something to them
Okay.
or make comments about who knows what. I don't know.
Just kind of unrelated discussion.
Yeah, yeah,
Between them. Okay.
yeah.
And you said within 5 minutes. All right. So yeah, and different students each time you said, because I know you said you were moving them around, you're trying to change their seating, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter like who I sit here with. You know, like she'll talk to anyone, and sometimes she'll talk to me.
Oh, okay. So not
Get
even
back to
students
work.
sometimes.
Yeah.
She's just trying to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. And what would you see as like appropriate behavior instead of this?
Um, probably like I probably want you to like stay in your seat.
Okay.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
And I want to like not distract other kids. And, stay focused and locked in onto like your own like work and like assignment and do it.
Right. Okay. That seems reasonable. Especially like as she's going into middle school, we know there's like more independence. She's gonna face more distractions and responsibilities, so it's
Yeah.
important to get this done now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for that. So, a little bit more. Which behaviors are the most concerning to you right now out of the ones that we've talked about?
Well, she's like a fine student. She gets the material, but like other kids might not. So like I think the most like or like the behavior that I'm the most concerned about is her distracting other kids and like
Right.
talking to like other people during independent
Yeah.
work time, and probably like that and like getting off task or distracted
Yeah.
during independent work time.
And that can kind of like impact the other students as well, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like those might be related, where she's like talking to peers and getting off topic distracted during independent work. It's kind of like, I guess they're both like tied into each other, where she's distracted and talking to peers.
Yeah. I agree. Maybe she's talking to them like more during the work. I don't know.
Okay.
The talking is like really disruptive to like other kids and
Right.
happens like really like, the most frequently. Like staying doing your own work is important too.
Yeah, of course.
But like if she stops talking to people, like, I think she just naturally like, go to doing her work and her focus would improve too.
That makes sense. So yeah, it's kind of like the accessibility of talking that maybe distracting her a little bit. Okay, I definitely that makes sense. I agree. So how often do these behaviors occur, like the talking to peers and stuff?
I'd say maybe she'll talk to someone 3 to 5 times in like the 30 minutes.
Okay, I could see that. Like yeah, on a bad day where it's like 5 times, that could eat a lot of time into the 30 minutes. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. Um, and just to be clear, this almost exclusively happens during independent time. Just
Yeah, I'd say so. She doesn't talk to anyone when I'm like lecturing.
Okay. Um, and how long does she stay off task? Is it? Do you have an estimate, maybe?
It varies. Like sometimes it's like 30 seconds, or other times it'll be like 2 to 3 minutes before I have to redirect her.
Right.
Otherwise, she'll come to me with like incomplete work.
Oh yeah. That, yeah. So she's like noticing and then kind of trying to say like, oh, time's coming up. I gotta finish this thing really quick.
Maybe scribble something on there.
Yeah. Okay, so it kind of sounds like it's not the like the actual assignment maybe. Like she's still doing it. It just she gets distracted. Okay, so how long after you assign a task does the behavior begin? Like you mentioned maybe 5 minutes. You said something like that.
Yeah, within the first 5 minutes.
Quite okay. And what usually happens before she's off task? Are there any like things that might provoke a moment off task behavior, or like assignments?
I think it's mostly during independent work time.
Okay, so just the independent time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that. Yeah, just that. Like, especially like when we transition a whole group to quiet work time.
Okay, so it really feels like the main concern is just during independent time. She just like disrupts others, and she's not focused in doing her work either.
Right.
Okay. So what usually happens if she's on task for a while, or if that happens? Like, do you say or do anything different?
I might give her like a smile.
Okay, yeah.
Or like
some kind of
like I might say like, oh, like, good job.
Little praise or affirmation kind of thing. Like,
yeah, like some quiet praise, you know. Like,
okay.
I genuinely expect my students to
Right.
be quiet and work.
Yeah, especially if she just recently got diagnosed. It's hard to know. So what about when she's off task? Like, what does that look like? What do you usually do?
Scroll up to her desk and then keep your eyes on your work.
Yeah.
I'll verbally redirect her.
Okay.
After some time, sometimes she'll stop, and sometimes she like continues.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to your seat, and her peers will engage with her.
Right.
They'll talk back and whisper and giggle. Mm-hmm. And if it gets like too disruptive, I might speak with her privately after class.
Okay. Well, I'll come back to that in a little bit, but I appreciate that information. Okay. And so in terms of work completion, you mentioned something about her like mostly finishing it, but it's kind of rushed.
Yeah. So she'll turn in her work, but sometimes it's rushed or incomplete.
Yeah, those last few minutes when she's trying to cram it in.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's, yeah, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, it sounds like it's not really to avoid the work. She doesn't seem to mind doing it, but maybe it's something else.
Yeah, if I gave her enough time to get it done, she'll do it. But she wastes a lot of time talking to other students and trying to talk to me.
Okay, I see. So just to recap, our theory is that the antecedent or like kind of the trigger is like the independent work. It's almost always during independent work. You said. The behavior is more that she either talks to you or classmates. Otherwise, just maybe zones out sometimes, but mostly looking for someone to talk to. She actually does her work, but it's rushed, like at the end, because she burned so much time talking or at least trying to talk to someone. That kind of makes me lean toward it being an attention-seeking behavior, whether she knows it or not. So maybe she's just like, I don't know, working alone. Like it's kind of like not a lot of attention being given there. And you mentioned that like in the other settings, when you are giving direct instruction to them, it doesn't really happen as much, and she's generally like just kind of with you. But either way, it seems like consequently, she kind of gets some form of attention, negative or positive, from you or her peers. Either you talk to her afterwards, or like her peers are, giggling or talking to her back. So, okay, that'll be important to keep in mind as we go along. What would be a realistic and acceptable level of these behaviors? Would you say?
Mm. I know in other times of the day when I'm talking to her and the class, it happens like a lot less frequently.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think I wouldn't care if she only talks to someone like once per class,
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
or like once per like work
Like
block.
work block.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I don't know. What's a reasonable expectation for someone to be on task? I don't know, like 80% maybe.
I think 80%. Yeah, we could do that, especially if we figure out, like if she's only talking, like maybe not at all to one time work block. That should eliminate most of her attention problems or distractibility, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
Does that sound realistic for her from what you know about her and what we talked about?
Yeah, yeah. I think she can, because outside of independent work time, she kind of does that already. Like she's like a
Okay.
pretty solid student. Yeah.
That's good. Okay. Yeah, we'll have that then. So let's see. Talking to peers maybe like 0 to 1 times per independent work block, and then trying to be on task for at least 80% of the time to replace that behavior. So my plan is to measure Jill's on and off task behavior using maybe like 3-minute intervals for 30 minutes. So like 10 total times I check was she off task or on task during these 3 minutes, and then I'll come in and get some direct observations, and then maybe you can start data collection with like a log if that's okay with you. I can provide one, so then you don't have to go figure it out and do it for yourself. It'll be short, and probably something similar. And then we'll repeat that for around 5 days, and then we should have some great work data to get started with at least, and look into an intervention that will fit her. Does this sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So yeah, next week we'll begin collecting data. I'll keep track of the behaviors we discussed, and you'll observe and record them during the independent work when I'm not there. Let's see. We'll meet again the Friday after school to review the data, and we'll start developing strategies.
Okay, great.
Okay, is that right?
I'm glad we're putting this together. I feel like Jill could be doing a lot better, and I really want to support her so that she does well.
Yeah, it sounds like she's doing great in other areas. So really, we just want to focus in on this independent work, speaking to others, and kind of being off task. I think it's definitely doable. Okay. All right. See you Friday.
All right, see ya.